But do you have an opinion on that?
I absolutely agree with Jay Vincent there from Fawyers. He's a very analytical, deep thinking man, and we've talked for hours, and we concur on many, many things. Now, here's what they used to teach us in corrections and in law enforcement. It was a little more so in corrections, but you know, they teach care, custody, and control for prisons, for inmates. But they sort of taught it without using them words for police, that you've got care, custody, and control of that person or people from the time you make contact until they leave. They don't leave until you say so. Well, that's not really the right mentality to teach. They should teach until the necessary information is obtained from the people if it's a lawful encounter. But they don't teach you can't make contact without a lawful reason to start with. And then at any point that stop or that contact becomes unlawful, it must be broke off immediately, no matter what. But police are taught to be a catch dog. And I would say, I'm just going to estimate that 80% of the police have 3 months of training. 3 months of training in the law enforcement academy. And remember, the portion dealing with law is usually 2 weeks or less. That's studying things like city ordinances, county ordinances, state laws, state statutes, state codes, and any federal laws or codes that apply to them in the national constitution. So they've got about 80 hours maximum for probably 80%. Now, the other 20% may have double that. But when you talk to somebody like yourself or Jay or another man, say, for example, if I was working active today and say there was some lawful reason to stop somebody, say maybe they were driving recklessly, okay? We're not talking about somebody speeding, but they've almost run over 10 people and they're calling the police saying, help us, people's almost wrecking us and killing us, and they've almost run over our children down here, okay? Well, I got to do something to stop this madman or woman. So I got a legal, lawful stop here. Okay, I have a reason at this particular time to identify this person because they committed a crime of aggravated assault with their vehicle, possibly. So I've got a legal right to identify them. Okay, I'm going through the encounter. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but I still have to treat them like a man or a woman. I still have to make sure that they're safe. I still have to deal with them the way that I need to deal with them. I still have to listen to them. I can't have a one-sided story like, you're wrong, you're convicted. My job is to gather information in a lawful manner. Now, if they tell me I'm not going to cooperate with you, and I have no duty to cooperate with you, and I'm not going to give you any information whatsoever, if I can make the arrest lawfully without them telling me a single thing based on these witnesses signing sworn complaints, then I still put them in handcuffs. I'm still going to take them to jail and impound their car. We'll fingerprint them. We'll find out who they are. That'll be up to a judge to determine, but they're still going to jail, okay, because they have the elements. But say if I stop them, and for example, say they have a dash cam, and they say, officer, I don't know who made those accusations against me, but they're lying. I ain't going to tell you who I am, but I actually have a dash cam right here, and you can look on it, and you can see that I wasn't driving crazy. So they turn on the dash cam, and I look at it because they volunteered it. So I sit there with them, and I look at it, and I see that these people have lied on this person. I say, okay, well, now we have it the other way around. These people have filed a false complaint on you. Would you like to in turn file a complaint on them for making a falsehood on you? No, man, I just want to be free and about my way. Okay, have a great day. Bye. So you got to listen. I can't just jump down there and rip them out of the car or bust the glass. In fact, I remember a really, really great case where a woman in North Florida, I stopped her for speeding. It's about 10 o'clock at night. So she won't sign a ticket. And at that time, the policy, and I remember a policy is just the way you do it around here. Doesn't mean it's lawful or unlawful, just means that's the way we do business. Our policy was, yes, a tradition. If you don't sign the ticket, then you go to jail, and the magistrate makes a determination what happens from that point. So she rolled up her window and she said, I ain't coming out of here. I said, well, and so she was telling me she was scared and stuff. And I said, well, ma'am, I said, I ain't going to bust out your window like you see on TV and yank you out. I ain't going to do nothing to hurt you. I'm going to sit back here in my car until you decide to get out and surrender. So if that takes 24 hours, somebody will bring me more gas for my patrol car. Somebody will bring me something to eat. And eventually, when you get tired and give up, then I'll take you to jail. I was trying to be a thing, you know. But I was going to tell you, I got sidetracked, and I'm sorry. I'm bad for this. But they taught us in the academy, be aggressive. Start out at the top. Be aggressive, and then you can back down from that if a person becomes human. So they're teaching you to falsely assume that when I say Vincent, he's a jerk automatically right here. And it's up to Jay Vincent to prove he ain't a jerk. Because if he is, then we stay here. But if he's an officer, look, I'm on some hard times, and, you know, I'm just a man, and I'm just trying to live, and I'm just trying to make it along, and I really help you, but I ain't going to hurt you. Then that level starts to go down. So now Jay Vincent is a man. He ain't a number. He ain't just another guy on the street. He's a human being. So I de-escalate with him. But police are taught these days in the new academies, even if they're not up here, this is as low as they can go. They got very little thresholds. And in my day, we went all the way out. In other words, like, okay, well, maybe your tags are bad, so we're going to take your car, we're going to leave you on the side of the road. In my day, if we had to take the car, I'm going to give you a ride home. At minimum, I'm going to give you a ride home. And if I can't, you live too far away, maybe I'll help get you a taxi. I'll want to help because you got in a jam. But today they're taught disassociation. You know, you're just a number, you're just a statistic. They're militaristically minded, and it's like it's a combat zone. You're the enemy of the state, and we're the state. And cops don't do that. Don't do that. When you do these things, you're abusing your authority, and the authority is based on the power of and the consent of the governed. They're not going to be treated like dogs. You're violating that public trust.
Damon?
And when you wear a badge, that's the badge of the people, the public trust. And so many of y'all have done that. I hate for people even to know I was a cop anymore most of the time because y'all have embarrassed me.
All right, hang on for a minute. Jay, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, you were talking earlier about care, custody, and control, or what were the 3 C's? Chief. I think you mentioned care, custody, and control.
Yeah.
And those things do not include communication as a separate construct. They may be including communication, but again, communication is a two-way street, and usually the objective of the cop is to use verbal skills in a way that hooks people into an admission or a confession of some type.
Yeah. Because I think he's important, and I'm going to leave this part in because I'm just going to talk about him for a minute and see if he comes back in. I like what he's doing. I like where he's going with it, and I think he could be a big asset to this whole movement.
Sure.
He's back.
There he is.
There's Chief.
We were talking about you behind your back.
And in front of your back. Can you hear us now? Can you hear us, Chief?
You might need to join. Go down and click join audio.
Let's see if we. Yeah,
Hello?
he's not. There he is.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Good.
All right, and it sounds like and looks like you're back on track here with your connection. I don't know exactly where you were going to ask about the C's. Okay.
Yeah. So the 3 C's are care, custody, and control. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So communication is not a separate element of those C's. It may be incorporated into some of those, but usually the communication is just a one-way street for a cop. He's trying to gain an admission or a confession, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
So I think if they're not really trained to deal with communication on a deep level, and it's my suspicion and experience that they're not. I'm going to be working on some ways that we can communicate with them. And at least get them to see, hey, you know what? There are people. There's actually a body on the other side of that uniform that you got on too. It's not just a little chess piece in a game. So that's
all right. Well,
I appreciate that.